April 1st, 2005. My birth year. You know, they do say something, about birth and being born, that actually being born is one of the greatest acts of creation. So I wondered to myself, what are you supposed to do after that? It seems like everything created after that would be some kind of disappointment created to, well, me. We try our best to create meaning, to create purpose, to make something of ourselves, but the truth, life was not given to be survived. It's not given to be survived, There's no such thing as going out there, living a life, and then winning. Being fulfilled. I mean, yes, it's true. You will maybe one day become fulfilled, become successful, become happy, get a relationship, get kids, have those kids, move out of the house, and then you are with your wife or husband and you're sitting there on your back porch knitting, looking at the sky, wondering where all the time went. Isn't that life? Trying your best. Getting out there. Putting one foot in front of the other. Not knowing what's next. Being afraid of the unknown. Trying. Really, really trying. Just to realize that you're trying isn't enough. That maybe sometimes you'll still lose. You'll win sometimes too. Good things will happen, bad things will happen. But most of the time, when it seems like things are about to go well, they'll most likely go bad. But just when it seems like things are about to hit the fan, that is exactly when life pulls a 180 and says, you know what? You deserve this. You deserve to be happy. So it throws you some kind of joy. I don't know what that is, but it throws you something. Whether that's a relationship, a main event, a career, a person, a thing. And for a little bit of time, you forget. You forget you're a person living a life. You zone into the present. You zone into the happiness of the world around you. And it's a weird moment. When you finally catch something that makes you happy, when you're finally doing something that you enjoy, you step out of yourself for a moment. Kind of like when I do these videos, or when I make live streams, or when I do other things. It's kind of like stepping out of yourself and, well, allowing yourself to just be, which is a lot of people don't really like to do that. A lot of people cannot let themselves be. A lot of people have to do and do and do and do and do and do and do. And then they realize something, that they were never a human doing, that they were always a human being, that there was no difference between you and I. We just look different. We just sound different. We all bleed red. Eventually one day we will all die. There's no difference between that. But there is one difference. Everyone does die, yes. But not everybody lives. Not every single person gets the chance to go out there and do what they love. To be who they want to be. Because I think we already mentioned this before. Even if you want to be somebody great, be something amazing, the world might stump you. It might put you through things that, well, you don't necessarily understand why you had to go through them. The fact of like you're getting hit by that car, or having your grandmother get cancer, or anything. You sit there and you wonder yourself in your dark room, why? But here's the truth. It doesn't matter why. That even if you were to find the reason, if you were to have it all answered and figured out, well, it would still be happening. Your grandma would still have cancer. You would have still gotten hit by that car. You would still be in the hospital, withering away, having your soul buffering, lagging, trying to figure out what it all means. Just to figure out it doesn't mean anything at all. You see, everybody, life is not given to be survived. Every single day, no, not every single day, every single one of us, one day, will die. Every single human being on this planet that is alive right now and watching this video will most likely be dead in about 100 years. Everyone in the comment section, in this video, whatever, will most likely be a bunch of dead people in about 100 years. That is completely okay. I'm not encouraging you to I don't know, why do anything at all if we all die, you know, because we're all going to be forgotten, whatever. It's going to be like we're not even, it's really going to be like we were never even here. In about 300 years, I don't even know, whatever amount of decades, years, whatever, centuries, I highly doubt that you're going to be remembered. You know, that's not a bad thing. Let's think about, I don't know, Queen Elizabeth. When was the last time you thought of her? She accumulated more wealth than 99.9% of human beings on the planet. She was the Queen of Britain. Or England. Not Britain. I'm an idiot. I'm stupid, okay? It's okay. Stay in school. It's okay. But anyway, what I'm trying to get at is, it doesn't matter how powerful you are, doesn't matter how successful you are, doesn't matter how famous, whatever. You'll most likely just be forgotten just like the rest of them. You know, I'm not saying forgotten as in like, oh, I don't care about that person. As in just people move on with their lives. You know, I still have an exam tomorrow. I still have to go and get ready for my job interview. I still have to nail this interview. And even though I just said that, I have to get this girl, get the guy, know what to say, do the right. Life moves on. It's unfortunate, you know, life moves on. That is one of the most tragic things about life, that after death, that after something bad happens, life still moves on, you know, like the next morning, the birds still chirp, the sun still rises, the grass is still green, things are still there, you know. In fact, if you look around the world today, you see things appearing and disappearing and whatever. What makes you think you're any different? What makes you think that your time here is any different? And I'll ask you this. If right now, I think you should be, aware enough to realize this. If right now is all temporary, everything we do is temporary. This moment is temporary. It'll be gone. And after death and after life is eternity, forever, then I'll ask you this. What on earth are you waiting for? Why do you continue to doubt yourself? Why do you continue to think you can't? Because here is the thing. Even if you go out there and whatever you're trying to do turns into a complete shit pie, at least you tried. At least you went out there, put one foot in front of the other, and you tried. Even if things go bad, even if it doesn't go the way you want it to, you still tried. In fact, try this for me. Get rid of your expectations inside of life and try to replace it with appreciation for everything. Appreciate life. Appreciate the fact you could see. Appreciate the fact you could speak. Appreciate the fact you could hear. Appreciate the fact that you could walk. Appreciate the fact that you have hands, fingers, toes, that you have a roof over your head, if you do, internet, food, water, at least one person around that loves or cares about you. Gratitude. It's being grateful for what you have. You know, but you're probably thinking to yourself, oh, Matthew. People have so much more better stuff than me. How could I possibly be happy? Happiness is not about the quantity or how much stuff you have or the quality of the stuff. No. The happiest people do not have the best everything. The happiest people make the best of everything. You know, even in a bad situation, even if your dog were to get ran over or your grandparent were to get a disease or something, you have to try to make the best of your situation. Because the truth, it's not your fault. If you were to go outside and get hit by a car, it's not your fault. However, it is your responsibility. And that's the messed up part. That every single thing that happens to you inside of your existence is your responsibility. You need to take care of that. You need to get out there. You need to figure it out. Maybe you won't. Maybe you will. I don't know. But is it going to stop you from trying? Maybe it will. Maybe you won't want to try. Maybe you'll lay your ass down in your bed and be afraid. Be afraid of even moving. Be afraid of even trying. It's okay. You know, maybe one day you will come a full circle. Maybe one day you will be the one. Whatever that even means anyway. But realize that no one is given life for it to be survived. No one gets out of this alive. Nobody wins this thing. Enjoy your life. Do what you want. Say what you want. Just be. You know, if it makes you happy going to Chili's and downing mozzarella sticks and then going home and, I don't know, drinking and then watching Rick and Morty and then whatever, then I guess do that. I guess do that. You know, you're aware. You know, when you put... Human beings do not act off of information. Human beings act off of emotion. You know, when you're pulling up to that McDonald's drive-thru and you're ordering your number 7, your number 6, your double large fry. I'm just kidding. But you're totally aware of what you're about to put into your stomach, what you're about to put into your mouth. You're totally aware of that. But it doesn't stop you from freaking saying, yep, let me get my stuff. It doesn't. You know, the same way that, nature doesn't stop from, ending things. Destroying things. Until we all turn into some kind of pile of mush. Don't let the fact that one day you won't be here, don't let that discourage you from living. You know, because the more you fear death, the more you actually fear living. The more you got to take risks. You got to take chances. You got to get out there. You got to talk to people. You got to do things. And maybe, just maybe, it will work out. Maybe it won't. That's life. It's unfair. I'm kidding. It's actually fair. Because it is unfair to everybody. Do me a favor. Enjoy your day. And stay positive too. And realize this. You, by yourself, you will go through your entire life with just you. So make sure you enjoy yourself. Make sure you do not hate yourself. Because realize that you cannot hate yourself into loving yourself. You cannot self-criticize yourself into positivity. Okay? A negative mind will never make a positive life. That's just how it works. Get out there. Enjoy yourself. Most importantly, stay positive. And I will catch you guys in the next video.